Okay, so this is the grease that I use. It's made by Supertech. It's extreme pressure, multi-duty, complex, high temperature grease. It's made for maritime operations, made for maritime engines. So this is great because it's really super heavy duty, and if it gets wet, it won't wash out. That's a major problem that most AEGs have, is that the grease actually washes out if they get wet. So yes, you do need to re-grease these. They come with very little grease on them. Mostly all the grease is on the gears, and it's not really that much. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what goes on in the gearbox, the anatomy of the gearbox, how it actually works. So this is called the bevel gear. This is called the spur gear, and this is called the sector gear. So what happens is the pinion gear. This is the pinion gear that I used when I originally tested this gearbox, and it chipped one of the teeth. The combination of the Lipoly and the strength of this spring chipped it. So what I suggest is that you go out and get a reinforced pinion gear. So what happens is the pinion gear sits in like this. It rotates, it transfers the force over, it transfers the motion over. See, it'll spin like this. It'll spin something like this. It transfers it down. That's why there are teeth in different ways. This takes, see, it takes the vertical energy and turns it into a horizontal energy. So it sits there. The bevel gear actually works like this. It connects to it connects to the spur gear like this, and they rotate like this. Meanwhile, the sector gear sits on top of it all like this. You can see it's working together like this. And what this does is it hits the piston. This is the piston right here, and the piston has teeth on it. Watch, I'm gonna get this out of the way. See, the piston has teeth on it, and this is actually what causes it to go back and forth. And then it releases and shoots out. So this is the piston head. So you can see that it's a little worn out. This is a very heavy duty box. When I chronoed it at Autumn Justice 2, it was actually shooting 417 with a Prometheus Type bore barrel in it. This is the spring guide. As I said, it's metal and it has bearings on it. It's a bearing. I don't know what the bearings do, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what the purpose of the bearings is. It's a multi-pitch spring. You can see right here, multi-pitch. This is a red polycarbonate piston. Most of Matrix's stuff is red polycarbonate. You see, it got wore down a little bit from the operation. And then this is the cylinder. This is the cylinder head. This is the nozzle. It's called the tappet plate. And this is the trigger switch. And on the back of it, I'm not going to flip it over right now because otherwise I'll end up dumping everything out of it, is the selector plate. The selector plate works by when you flip the selector switch on the body of the gun, it moves the plate, and based upon the position, there's a little box on the other side. Based upon the position of the spring that's in the box, it'll actually allow a certain amount of electricity through, which will give you your single shot or your automatic fire. So as I said, when you get this box, I do suggest that you add some more grease to it. It doesn't really need any more shims. It came with 2 shims, and that seems to be just about right for this box. I think they did right by that. Let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors. evike.com sponsors us here at the Airsoft Research Center. They're great. They are America's largest superstore for Airsoft. They have a field. They have tons of events. They have a very large selection of stuff for you to get. Go there for all of your Airsoft needs. Once again, they're at www.evike.com. Okay, so the reinforcement, this is a reinforced box. The reinforcement comes in right here. You see there's one little box there, and there's a second box right here. There's corresponding bulges on the other side, on the other half of the shell, which will actually fit into these little slots right here, and that is actually what will keep the box from sliding apart under pressure. All in all, this is a pretty good box. I did chrono it. It chronoed at 417 feet per second with a Prometheus tight bore barrel in it. The tight bore barrel does add some feet per second to it. It adds some strength to the shot because it actually reduces the amount of air that slides around the BB, and also reduces the amount of movement that the BB has on the inside of the barrel while it's shooting. So I'd say probably without a tight bore barrel, it would probably chrono in at just about 400 feet per second, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But all in all, this is a pretty good box. I like it. It's a pretty high quality box. It will certainly get the job done. I would suggest it for higher heavy duty applications. But yes, right now I'll let you watch me put it together. Just in case you don't know how to put one together, it might be good to watch this. So you take off first. You gotta put all this together. I try not to mess around with that too much unless I'm actually changing out the cylinder. Actually, you do have to see. There you go. There goes the piston. You slide the piston in right now. Okay, I'm not going to put the spring in yet because I don't need to put the box together yet. I try to keep that for last. You take the sector gear. See, this is the sector gear right here, and you put it in. Oop. Just like that. You want to put the sector gear in first. Okay. You take the spur gear. You need to slide the spur gear in. Just like that, see? Now, you do have to you have to fine tune it. You don't want, sorry, there's a cat hair there. You don't want you have to set the timing. There is a specific timing, pardon me, with every gearbox. You see there are dots up here in the frame of the gearbox. You want to line up at just about a 45-degree angle, or the third dot over. See, 1, 2, 3.